3. Let's get into what you're going to be doing this week. You're going to be reading chapters 4 and 5, which I'll talk about in just a few minutes. I'll set the stage for you. But those are the two main chapters that this week is going to be focused on. It will also, these chapters are going to help you do your exercise and, of course, know the information that's going to be on the quiz. So by the end of the week, you'll have an exercise and a quiz that's due. So the chapters aren't very long. I mean, they will take you some time to read, and especially talking about the way I suggested before, where you take notes, you highlight. You know, it's not going to be something that you just breeze through. You're going to have to really familiarize yourself with it. So I would suggest that you get these readings done early, right? Get this done early in the week. This way, and I don't, everybody's schedule is different. I know that, but you will have time to do the exercises and the quiz because you're going to really need the foundation of the reading before you can get into these. So if you wait to do all this Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, it's going to be too much, I think, just to be able to do well, in one day. So if you're able to, and how you can everyone manages their time differently, I know, but I would suggest you get. You could read both of these in an hour. Each one would take you an hour, I'd say. And everybody, I know, reading level is different, but I'd say get one done one day, get one done the other day. So 2 hours total in 2 days, and then you can start doing the exercise and the quiz, which will take you a little bit of time. But this is the bulk of it. So do that. Also, review the feedback I give you from your prior exercise. Now, depending on when you watch this video, it may or may not be graded by then. I might not have feedback by then. So I'm going to get through those that have, I'm making this video on a Saturday, right? So those that have already submitted it today and tomorrow, I'm going to edit it and give you feedback. But if you do it tomorrow night, just before the due date, I might not be able to get you feedback until later in the week. So the point is, you might look for feedback right now if you're watching this on Monday or Tuesday and say, hey, it's not graded yet. Well, it really depends on when you submitted it. And if when I was able to get to it. But in any case, what you should be doing is at some point in the week, take a look and look for that feedback that I gave you. Because that feedback is going to do a few things. It's going to help you prepare you for maybe the exercise that you're going to be doing this week. It also, that feedback, this is all supposed to be, these exercises are practice, getting you ready for your first written assignment, which is not coming out this week. But it's coming very soon, your first actual journalistic project. So these exercises, by me giving you feedback now, you can start to learn what you need to do. So when you're the one that has to be the reporter and go do it all for yourself, I've already given you some direction in advance. So long story short, what I'm trying to tell you is make sure you always go back, check feedback on your exercises, because I will always give you feedback in some degree, even if it's, hey, this was done great, you wouldn't change a thing, but I'll always give you some feedback. And keep using that because that's really my way of helping you one-on-one, seeing what your strengths or weaknesses are, and then trying to address them. So take a look at what I say there. And of course, read news every day. Like I've been saying, it will only help you see how the pros are doing it, which is going to then help you in your own writing here in this class and make life, will make life easier for you. I think, understanding news and current events is going to always enrich your life, but life in this class will definitely make it a little bit easier if you're learning from others that are doing it well right now. All right, let's talk quickly about chapters 4 and 5, because like I said, that is what the majority of the lesson is going to be this week. And the first chapter, chapter 4, is on sources. The chapter is going to go over to you what sources are, but sources are what what journalists build their stories around. A source is a person, so talking to a person, learning about an issue or a topic from them. A quick example of a source: there is a fire. You as a reporter go to cover the fire, and you see, I don't know, it could be a firefighter or a fire chief, whomever there, and you go and talk to that authority, that fire chief, that firefighter that's there, and ask them questions about the fire. How did it start? When did it start? Was it hard for you to put it out? Whatever those questions are, they're giving you their insight knowledge of it. That's a source. They're a credible authority to be able to talk about that issue. If you're covering politics, you're covering government, and a legislator passes a bill through and you go interview her about the bill that she passed and why she passed it and what's in it, that's a source. Another form, so there's human source. Another source is actual written sources. So maybe if there was, let's think about that bill, that legislation. If there's legislation, there's a bill, and you get language from that bill, from that law, right, or that law, that's a source. If there is a, I don't know, press release, which we're going to learn about in this class, but a company sends information about a new product and you're writing about that product, that's a source, that information sheet that you got. If there are emails that you got, right, you did a freedom of information, which means you're getting public information about, and it's two federal employees that are talking to each other. So you're allowed to see their emails if you request it. You might not have known that, but you can do that freedom of information. You get those emails, that's a source, the information that comes from those emails, right? There's a lot of different, the point is, and the book is going to go more in depth with that, a lot of different forms of sources. But that's what we're going to learn about. What are sources? How do we use them? Why do we use them? And how do they make a story credible? In a lot of ways, it's like research. It's research, really. Research for your story. So you're going to be learning about that. In the next chapter, you're going to be learning about interviewing. How do you conduct an interview? All these are important. I know all these chapters are important, but for many of you, this is a crucial chapter for you because two reasons. One is you're going to have to actually go be a reporter, like I talked about. You are going to be writing a story soon, and you're going to have to go do an interview. And the information you get through your interview is going to help you write your story. So if you don't conduct a high quality interview and you don't know how to ask proper questions and how you actually solicit information that you need, then you won't be able to have anything to write your story with, right? It's like a house. If the foundation is all crumbling to start with, it doesn't matter if you've got your windows and your roof, because the whole thing is going to collapse at some point. And that's the same concept here, right? You have to have quality information to start writing your story, or it doesn't matter, using other techniques. You're not going to have enough to actually build on. So that's why this is so crucial to understand how you conduct a good interview. And there's going to be two sides of this. There are going to be some of you that are going to say, well, I'm not good at talking to people and I don't really like doing interviews and they're very hard for me. Well, then obviously this chapter you need, right? Because it's going to help you be better prepared. How do you bring up questions? How do you bring up difficult questions? How do you pivot if you're not getting the information that you need in an interview? It's going to go over some of those techniques. And for those of you that already know that interviewing is a weak point for you, well, this chapter is going to help you with the tools to be stronger. Then there's the other group of you, some of you that are overconfident, I think. Say, I love talking to people and I talk to people all the time. I don't really need to know about interviewing. Well, that can also be just as, I could say that could be as negative just as someone who is nervous about talking to people and doesn't want to do an interview because they want, they're a little shy about it. Those that are overconfident about it have other issues too. That being that you make the interview more about yourself. You start talking about yourself and you're not actually really listening to what they're saying. You cut them off because you are so used to having a conversation, which is great. You like to talk to people, but you start getting into a conversation that you maybe don't know the tools, the techniques to be silent when you need to so they can draw out their answer and get to the real rich, deep stuff. You might not know how to actually take notes well because you're so used to just talking and you're not actually focusing on when do you take a key note. How do you know when there was something that they said that you need to focus on and then ask a follow-up question about? So the point is that this chapter, it can help everybody. It doesn't matter if you're great at talking to people, you love talking to people. It doesn't matter if you've never, you say, I'd rather just hide and be a hermit and never see anybody again. This chapter is going to meet both those types of groups. And if you're somebody that's in the middle, even better, because now you can really focus on how do you ask a question and then how do you listen to what they're saying and take those key points down and then be able to use those key points to ask follow-up questions. You're going to need that skill coming up for all your assignments, for writing assignments moving forward, but you're going to need that skill very soon because you're going to be interviewing someone right away on your first story. So it's good to have a good foundation of that. And there will be a quiz, of course, there for that too. Okay, so let's talk about your homework here. Like I said just a minute ago, you've got quiz 2, which is chapters 4 and 5 on sources and on interviewing. Take a look at how you did on that first quiz. Again, depending on when you took it, If you're looking at this on Monday, maybe I have not graded it yet, but you will see, within the few days, I will get the quizzes done early. I'm going to try to get those done first. Take a look at how you did and see maybe where you struggled, see the types of questions that were asked. Of course, it's not going to be the same questions. I know new content, but you get the idea maybe of, I really was not focusing on keywords like I should have been, or, I needed to do a better job taking notes or highlighting because I couldn't find the information when I was actually taking the quiz. Whatever it is, the point is, this next quiz is going to be just like the first quiz, same kind of format, some short answers, some multiple choice, true and falses. So see the types of questions, see if you can start to see what you really need to focus in on. And remember, these quizzes are used also as notes for you in the future. So all these quizzes, you can always go back, especially when your first writing assignment comes, and go back and take a look at them. And these, I pick questions that are going to be, I think, almost helpful notes for you to be a better writer when you actually have to go do the work. And then you have your exercise here. I'll click on it. Again, do exercise 3 on pages 95 and 96 of your textbook. Submit it as a Word document. Do not do it directly on Blackboard. But just like the last assignment, the textbook will walk you through the exercise. And these are getting you in the right mindset of how you approach stories and how you use sources and what kind of sources you use, right? So that's what this exercise is doing. It's not necessarily working on your technical writing skills. It's working on how do you approach a story, which then, if you do that well, like I said, you'll have the information to execute those technical skills that we're going to learn in this class for writing, and it's just going to work hand in hand. All right, that covers it for this week. Again, just like last week, hopefully what you're seeing in this class is the book is your main driver here, where I see my role in this class is feedback, which you will be getting. I try to give the feedback's where I can help you one-on-one, because you're all going to have strengths and weaknesses and areas that you need to work on. So the feedback is where I feel is my role as the instructor here. I can kind of work with you one-on-one, even though I'm not sitting down with you, right? And I can say, oh, this is what you need to work on. This is what, have you considered this, and help you there. But as far as the actual lessons, as far as the actual content, that is where my assistant, the book, is really helping you, right? I feel like the book is because you can do it on self-pace here. If there's a section here that you need to spend more time on, you can really take the time and focus in the book on that part and look up other examples. So the point is that the book is really your guide. That's where you're learning the main lessons. Where my role is individual feedback and kind of points you in the right direction, what you should be focusing on, like the quiz questions that I ask, or when I set up these videos, when I talk in these videos, kind of setting the stage for you, how you should be approaching, thinking about what you're about to read, right? That's my role. So I say that the reason I say that is because the readings take the time to do it. What I just said in this video is not enough to pass the quiz. What I said in this video is not enough to be able to complete this exercise. The book is that's where you're learning what you need. And of course, if there is a question or something that's really confusing in the book, another role I have is that's where you email me and say, I'm not really sure what this means. I read it in the book, but I'm still confused about blah, 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 and I can help you out there, right? So I'm really like the support to your learning. And I know that might be a difficult adjustment for some of you. So know that I am here for questions. Know that the feedback is really where I can help you one-on-one. Always make sure you understand the feedback I gave you. If you don't understand it, email me, because it's not going to get better for you, right? It's not like it's just going to be like, I'll just brush it under the rug. You're going to have to use that again. And I'm going to say, oh, that was the feedback I gave you before, And so you need to make sure that you're understanding it. But just that's my role here. I'm here to guide you and then to help you in trouble areas. But the book is really where the main lessons are. So spend the time for that and do that early, and that will set you up for success for the quiz and the exercises, and then at some point the writing assignments that you'll be getting very soon. Okay, any questions or any other concerns or anything, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all next week.